Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded. Initiating System 1. System 1 loaded.
The Gorecast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, Gorecasters? Welcome back here to the Gorecast with me, Johnny Deadly, who is evidently way closer to the camera, and I don't know how the hell that happened.
In 3D.
Maybe it's just my shoulders look bigger in a white t-shirt or something. I know. I'm pretty sure I'm close. Anyway.
Oh no, you look.
I look what?
Look bigger.
I look bigger. Yeah. Okay. I'm probably. I don't even know.
He's getting swell.
Well, it's like I don't have the greatest of space. Do you know what I mean? I'm like I don't know.
I know what you mean. That's how I deal with every episode.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
do this, I hit something, I do this,
welcome
I hit
to the
something.
Chiznets, everybody. It's them boys from the GC with another fucking beatdown. Slightly different variety today, so it's not going to be let's all pick a monster. Although I suppose we are kind of, it has worked out as let's all pick a monster. But
Hey, Tristan.
I need the show to function
Tristan.
at like a normal time tonight. So we won't be doing the monster versus monster because there's 3 possessions within this genre that we're going to be speaking of, and I don't know how we're going to level all of those out. But the plan for tonight is we're doing a found footage beatdown where we're going to a genre that's kind of a mixed bag, to say the least, and has been besmirched by many a bad found footage movie. Because it is one of those genres that it is kind of cheap to shoot if you are pushed, and a lot of low budget filmmakers back about 10 years ago all decided that no matter what their storyline for their movie was, it was cheaper to shoot it as found footage, and it didn't matter.
Yep.
But these are 4 fine examples of the found footage genre that we bring before you. Once I figure out where it says Infinity Pool, I will get rid of that.
This makes you want to remember Infinity Pool. Don't remember Infinity Pool.
And Tristan says,
Hello, you buttes here lurking as I try to figure out media queries. I know how to code it, but not get it to work. And Johnny's wearing a white t-shirt. Very nice. I love all of you. Inhales. Yes, I've been occasionally.
A lot of information in one sentence.
I've been occasionally, all of my shirts are a combination of black, red, and white, basically, and whatever way it works out from there, an occasional smattering of blue, but mostly black, red, and white.
Yeah,
Normally,
I've
it's
changed mine.
black, as everyone knows, would be the predominant color, but
I got pink recently and orange recently.
what's your pink t-shirt? I'm mad to see this.
I've worn it before. It's my MJF shirt.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, you see, I'm on a video feed, so sometimes I don't know if the reds are coming through properly or whatever.
Gotcha. Yep. Says better than you. So that's definitely.
Well, it's true. He is better than me. If he said that to my face, I'd be like, I agree with you. To be honest,
So,
I agree with you because
But
I'm
he
a
doesn't
goddamn
say
good
to us.
heel myself. But I won't lie to you, I can't do anything
Yeah.
that MJF is doing because god dang, he makes you want
gets
to
away with
hug him and hate him at the same time, which is a very unique talent. But anyway, found footage genre. We have 4 fine examples that are going to be brought up. I'm going to be talking about the possession of Michael King. Giz has brought the Spanish fantastic horror delight known as Wreck. If you found old ladies scary and you find demonic possession scary, ooh wee, Buzz has got a movie for you because it's the taking of
The Taking of Deborah
the
Logan.
taking of Deborah Logan. I feel like it should be The Possession of Deborah Logan, and it throws me every
That's
time.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Carter has got a large troll-like item.
Troll Hunter.
I've seen it twice, and I can't remember the movie. So, nothing against the movie. I enjoyed it when I saw it, but I just I can't remember it well enough to come up with a witty thing. But there's a troll in it, so.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Got my attention.
Right.
Got my intention.
Right. Giz, can you get out your Deeces?
Oh no, there's four of us. Shit.
What?
I found my Predator D6 during the week, and I was like, oh no, that's still only 3 D6s, so there's four of us.
You could re-roll one.
Predator by color or
Predator by color. Well, and the fact that I got the dice back in the day with the Alien vs Predator card game.
oh okay.
It's just a black dice with red dots. It's cool though.
Yes, black dice, red dots. While you take a look for the dice, I'm going to.
It's okay. I got the D10s.
Do we have background music? Yes, we do. Okay, never mind. I was making sure.
Well, it's not Jeopardy.
Red was Carter or red was Johnny?
I don't
Red was
mind.
Carter. Red was Carter. Purple was Johnny. That was it.
Okay.
Purple veins, purple
Purple
veins.
veins, and then blue for Buzz, red for Carter, other red for me.
It's buzz dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die. It's a buzz dabba dee.
Hey,
dabba
Charlie.
die.
Charlie.
Inviso can
Okay,
everybody.
so okay,
New for
hero.
monster. Enjoy.
Ooh.
Okay, so will I? Shall I roll dice?
Carry on, my wayward son.
Don't let me have supernatural flashbacks, you son of a bitch.
I was thinking atmosphere, to be perfectly honest. I don't know where you got supernatural from.
Because he said, "Carry on, my wayward son."
Oh,
They play that
completely
a
missed.
lot
Oh,
over
I
here.
thought you were talking to me. I completely missed what Buzz was saying.
No. I got your gatekeeper vibes.
Yeah, well, good, because it's up to you first, Barney. You got a whopping great big 10.
More grenades. I got a. Ooh.
Yeah,
The
you got a 10. Carter got a 6. Myself and Buzz were tied on 3.
The dice never fail, Johnny Baines.
Okay.
Hey, Rochi, what's going on, brethren? How art thou?
Oh, gee. Oh, fuck! I forgot that hasn't properly.
Okay, let me pull up a picture.
So I
average.
did myself a mischief on last Friday, and then Saturday morning, put my hand on a table, looked at a lump, and went, and apparently pushed my knuckle back into place, but it's still a bit tender.
At least it's in place, I guess.
I didn't know it was out until I did it.
So, for
I was like,
anybody,
oh, okay.
for anybody who is chatting horror movies with me over the years, I'm sure I've probably recommended this movie to you at some stage. Because when people go, "Can you give me a horror movie recommendation? I'm looking for something to watch," and I can't think of anything, this is my de facto go-to movie to recommend, because you're going to enjoy it. Like, there's no... Right, I see what happened there. I wasn't using any of the buttons properly.
It would help if you do that
Yeah, yep.
sometimes.
That's one of those, like, good fucked up stories.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I've probably recommended this movie to you because it's my de facto go-to movie, unless someone has been giving me some sort of specific thing they're looking for in relation to. No, that's still
parameters.
shitting infinity pool.
They won't leave us. Go away, Cronenberg.
It's about a man that enjoys watching himself die at the end.
No more Cronenberg killing us.
Wait, I wasn't in that film.
Anyway, so The Possession of Michael King is a heart-wrenching and also mind-numbingly painful movie to watch, because anybody that's into demonic possession movies and or has any knowledge of demonic possession will be headbutting their way through a table as they watch this, as you are well aware of what is going to happen. It's one of those movies that it doesn't punish the viewer for not having any knowledge of this stuff, because you can kind of figure out where it's going anyway, but if you're aware of how these things go, you're going to be just headbutting a table going, "Michael, why are you doing this? This is a terrible idea. Even even if you don't believe any of these things, you have to be kind of like four fucking dudes in a row. It's probably a bit of a dodgy maneuver. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Is what I'm saying. But anyway, Michael King was a man who is a video documentarian and very much in love with his wife and his child, as you would hope from a father. It's usually a good start to. Anyway, they're all having a nice little picnic. They're having a good time, and Mum decides, the dog runs away out of the park. Mum goes to get the dog, and splat, Mum gets hit by a car. Mum was super into spiritualism and, not sightseers, what you call them? God damn it. Mystics and talking to...
Soothsayers.
Yeah, and talking to fortune tellers and all of this kind of thing. And Michael King, being a heartbroken man and also kind of thinking that this stuff is a bunch of paff in the first place, decides to do a documentary to unveil that all of this stuff is charlatanism, basically, and that there's no foundation behind it. Or maybe there is. He's he's going out to prove that there isn't, but he's kind of open. If we find something, if we find some evidence, we find some evidence. But you can kind of tell the objective of his documentary because the first person that we see him meeting is a fortune teller who he is essentially holding solely responsible for his wife's death, because it's like, we were supposed to be in France having a family holiday in France, which we didn't go on because your stupid fucking glass ball reading ass told her she was about to get the movie job that she's been waiting for. So we stayed. And then the woman proves that she doesn't know what's going on by saying, and that will happen. And he's like, oh, I fucking doubt that somehow. You know what I mean? My wife's a fucking pancake. And he goes off. So you're kind of like, okay. So also, this is the kind of setup that I think is, I'll get more into this when I get to the end of the kind of the storyline, but this is the kind of setup that works for a found footage movie, is where there's a documentary or there's something where validly from the start of the storyline there's an excuse for being a camera crew and all of this kind of thing, opposed to being like, why is your friend Greg, who never says anything, walking around with a phone following you? Are you on the YouTubes? Are you some sort of TikTok? What is it?
You're a bomb?
Yeah. From what I understand, that's the way it works. I put videos up there. I'm yet to see anything actually physically explode. Some of the videos have exploded, I don't mind telling you. But, yes. So, anywho, Michael goes around arranging meetings with random necromancers, people who are able to put... that's what he's fucking doing.
I would say less necromancers and more demonologists.
Oh, the guy in the park with the fucking PCP? Or with the smoking the acid?
I don't know, it's been a while, I don't remember. I remember he went to a bunch
He's
of
literally trying
different
to take the soul of a dead person and put it into him.
See, I was thinking he went to like a couple like different,
Yeah.
but okay.
Just the priest guy
Like-
with the acid.
There we go. Okay.
Or, sorry, technically not a priest. He was a fucking mortician.
Alright, well I suppose that'd be kind of necromancy, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Not
the-
all of them
the other ones
necromancers.
are-
I'm not
yeah,
saying they're all
that-
necromancers. Some of them are
that's-
demonic possession specialists. Some of them are...
demonologists.
demonologists. Some of them are world-renowned sightseers or fortune tellers or whatever.
Soothsayers.
Whatever the fuck, I don't care.
The storyline wise, I like the fact that he actually went out and didn't just find one person. Like he tried to kind of spread
Now,
the love.
That
Like,
is
he was
what
actually
any
making
good
it up legit.
documentarian should be doing, is approaching it from...
Right.
Oh my lord. Where did my picture go? There we go. Possession of with the thing. There.
Bunch of them.
Possession of the Gorecast.
Any
screen.
good documentarian, that's how you should be coming at a documentary, is from all angles. You should be covering kind of all of the angles. Well, that's what I say about a good documentarian. Whatever your belief on whatever you're talking about is, you should be covering everything equally and fairly. Which, unfortunately for Michael King, is how he also views how a documentary is made. Unfortunately, one of the things that he doesn't realise is that all of this stuff may not be as bullshit as he seems to think. And he through a series of random events, ends up with easily 4 different. Well, it's a series of random events, as in say. There's.
I was going to say I wouldn't call them random since he kind of goes out seeking them.
True, but there's a randomness as it. So he goes to meet the first people who do the Bruja kind of stuff, and they, yeah. So he has a fucking freak out after everything that happens, and tells them all basically to go fuck themselves, and very aggressively and angrily fucks off out of their house with no chance of them to return him to a natural state. Then there's when he goes to meet the necromancer guy in the park, that just as the fucking ritual begins, the cops fucking show up and everyone takes tacky, and yet again no one reverts him back to a natural state. He meets the other demon lady, or the priest, where yet again he doesn't get... This is what I mean by the series of random events. All of these things unfortunately result in him unawarely... Well, he's aware of what he's doing. He doesn't believe it's happening, but he ends up with many demons in him.
Sorry,
because unfortunately for Michael King, for a guy who was trying to disprove this, every one of the people that he met actually knew what they were fucking talking about and did what they said they were going to do on the tin.
What if all the things that went wrong, you know, the way like he's going to do all
You're
these
on the
different
same page
rituals,
as me, and that's where I was going. I agree.
Which would make
100%
sense, though.
agree with you, because I was like, it's weird how every one of these rituals got interrupted, and now some of them were from his own brashness. Like, don't get me wrong.
at the end of the day, at the end of the day, angels and demons don't speak in a loud voice. They whisper in your ear and influence what you do.
Yep. 100%.
And it's not always your ear they're whispering in.
Unless you're in Supernatural, where they physically come down and start doing stuff. They're not supposed to, but you know.
But the whole point is these things are, you know, they tip a domino, and then when that domino eventually falls, it's your life that it's influencing. So, you know, one has to imagine: are these unfortunate events that keep occurring to Michael really that random, or is there someone kind of tipping dominoes in the background so that the end product will be him falling?
Yep,
which just makes
literally
such
on
a good.
There was a reason I was bringing up all of this stuff at the start. So, unfortunately for Michael, or not unfortunately for, well, yeah, technically unfortunately for all parties concerned, Michael still has a daughter, and it's his the wife's sister's kind of living in the house as well, trying to help with the kids, because Michael, as well together he was holding it as he could be, still is a heartbroken man who can't keep his attentions locked. He gets very, before any demons are involved, he's very, I need to disprove all of this fucking shit. It was nearly, it was a documentary of closure for him. Do you know what I mean? Was just trying to, like, you know, I think, well,
maybe they could rename it The Obsession of Michael King.
I think it's too late for that now. It's out about fucking 15 years.
Take your time, machine.
I completely forgot about the kid part, though. I remember him getting so, like, obsessively locked into work, trying to, like, prove to disprove, like you said, the closure. I completely forgot about the kid.
So Michael starts hearing these voices in his head, or loud screaming noises on many decibel levels, to be precise. And he can't shake it. He seems to think it's like just this weird static that he's hearing, and he puts it down to a byproduct of the concoction of narcotics that he's taken to over the course of a couple of days, because most of these rituals involve you taking some sort of hallucinogenic to get you into whatever state that they're looking to get you into. Primed would be the technical terming for it. But everything's going badly, but controllably to a certain degree for Michael. Don't get me wrong, there's some fucking funky shit starting to happen, and there's, you know, we're getting the flickering lights, and we're getting he starts having this bone crunching problem with his jaw and all of that kind of thing, but he's holding it together, kind of. Well, no, he's like a madman possessed, but he's not attacking anybody at the time, until his sister-in-law is kind of like one night, understandably, because the dog's missing, and Michael has a fucking panic attack, and not literal panic attack, he has a fucking kind of attack, and she's like, dude, I literally have not seen you sleep properly in weeks, and you're obviously cracking up and you need a proper night's sleep, take a couple of my Valium, go catch some fucking Z's. And after the Valium is taken is when a shit slide of craziness happens, because it's like all the demon needed was just this one night. Because I would imagine part of Michael's descent into madness in the first place is you can visibly see him arguing with what he's been told to do in his head repeatedly. And I would imagine that one night of the Valium where there was essentially a KO'd vessel, well, we see what happens in the movie, because Michael starts walking around in a very aggressive, very glowing eye, very menacing, very everything. And very quickly you start fearing for this kid's life and the life of the stepsister as well, who's quite a nice lady. You know what I mean? And then the rest of the movie is a slow descent into madness, watching a man lose his fucking mind and lose his soul in several different directions as demons are just trying to rip it apart from the inside out, while he's trying to go and find all of these dudes that put demons in him, to find that they are slowly dying one by one. Everyone he goes to, he either gets kicked out or someone drops dead or has just dropped dead in front of him. And then, yeah, demonicness up to the end of the movie, which I won't get into, because if you haven't seen The Possession of Michael King, you actually need fucking great. It's really good.
Go do it.
You need to go see it. It's really good.
After the show. Wait till the show's over.
But the reason I always pick this, and this isn't just like a found footage genre pick for me. This is like a genuine, I'm like, this is a good fucking movie if you're looking for something really cool. There still is that slow build up that you get in a lot of the found footage movies, but it's not a painfully slow build up, and everything is a little founding stone and a little step towards the greater goal of getting Michael possessed. And it's a lot of character building as well, you know. Within 20-30 minutes of the movie, which is a lot more than I could say for a lot of found footage movies, you have the entire setup for the shit slide that is about to unfurl in front of you. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's going to a bunch of genuine, well, we don't know they're genuine at the time, but you know what I mean? They're well into what they're talking about. If you've seen any sort of possession movie, you're aware that you're like, okay, the way he's going about some of this investigatory journalism is okay, that's not how I'd be doing it, I'll tell you that straight out. You know what I mean?
Put the lid back on the fucking jar.
There's some great little creepy lines of dialogue between him and the daughter when he's kind of like in mid-demon mode, where you can get the setting stones to, okay, I think we're going to have some uncomfortable scenes unfurling later on in the movie.
When you were talking about the characters, that's one thing that I've noticed with like a lot of our choices that we picked, is like a lot of these films are probably some of the better character-driven found footage movies.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of that in found footage, and that's probably why these ones stand out over others of the genre.
Yeah,
you actually do get it in found footage, but it's not
always done well.
It's not ingrained into the storyline and unfurling naturally. It's a load of people just giving a load of info, just fucking info dumps while they're talking in the car.
Right.
Which is why you have these painful scenes of 40-minute car rides at the start of a fucking thing. Oh, I can't believe that Greg's fucking coming up. I thought you and Greg broke up last summer. Oh yeah, we did, but we're kind of seeing each other. And you're like, okay, well, Greg's obviously going to be an asshole, and Greg's probably going to get got pretty early in the movie, or it's going to be one of those rare occasions where the asshole actually wins in the end because the asshole's the only one with a gun or something. Do you know what I mean? Some stupid bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
But Possession of Michael King, really, it's not just about getting you to see a man get possessed. It's about building up the character of the guy, building up the character of the family unit there as well, and just really putting you in an awkward place as you watch this man make an abundance of bad decisions back to back. And you end up with quite the formidable. You end up with quite the formidable foe by the end of it, because the man's got several different demons in him, and you can tell that there's a lot of power going on, because there's a demonic possession equivalent of the fucking scenes from Fight Club where you saw Edward Norton just beating the shit out of himself. Yeah. You can see Michael literally arguing with reflections in the mirror and the reflection, or in the TV, and the TV's talking back to him, and he's getting picked up and bounced around the fucking living room like a little ping pong ball. And then he's fucking cutting himself, trying to the demon's cutting him to make him feel it, and it's
he essentially
time.
becomes Legion because he is many.
That's essentially it. Yeah, he is Legion by the end of the movie.
many.
Yeah, because once that
Terrible.
pesky little king soul gets out of the way, all of the demons kind of get on the same page. It's like we go murder, fuck, kill a load of stuff.
Let's go murder, fuck,
I'm
kill.
down for
Murder,
that.
fuck, kill.
Let's go. Or maybe let's murder, fuck, not kill some stuff, and shove one of you guys in the new thing. How's that sound?
Kinky.
That'd be great. I'd love my own room. Not that I don't like you guys, because I won't lie to you. I know we've been only together for a week, but I feel we've really grown close.
It's the cast of the real world inside.
Yeah,
of
it's the
Michael
real
King's
world.
head.
Demon possession style.
Ooh.
I didn't realize this was going to be a found footage when I watched it. I just happened to trip over it late one night, and I was like, "Oh crap, found footage!" And so I keep watching. One old boy's like, "Come at me, prove it," and I was like, "Oh, I'm hooked." And then
Yeah.
I was
It's
like, "I'm gonna watch
it's
this."
sad
thing.
that that's your, like, not just saying you in general, but that's a lot of people where it's like, oh, found footage. It's like
yeah,
it sucks that that's the.
Well, you see,
Like for the longest time, I was just not a fan of them.
here's
then
the
I
thing.
started
The thing with found footage is yet to have. Slasher movies had the same problem the found footage movies had.
Yeah.
Mid, kind of late 80s,
Oversaturation.
early 90s, where it was cheap. You could do a slasher movie cheap. And it was basically people just carbon copied what they'd seen from fucking Friday the 13th and some other stuff and just sprinkled a very minimal amount of their own flavorings onto a lot of these storylines. And you got a lot of cheesy, lot of horrible shit. And that's happened with the found footage genre. And one of the reasons people look back at slashers so much is that there was a resurgence mid-2000s where kind of started getting good again. Do you know, well, not everything was out of the park, but there were some of them where, we had like Scream in the late 90s and we had other things, and you were kind of like, okay, this is a new angle. I'm liking where this is going. You know what I mean? And I think it's just found footage hasn't had the kind of resurgence that kind of formulated it.
I think it's because
And it was just a horrible mixed bag from the offset. Do you know what I mean? There was like about 2 good ones at the start and there was a lot of poo.
it's so easy to get it wrong, especially because of the medium of it. Because one of the key essentials in especially the early found footage movies was the idea to look like this is somebody that someone has done at home, which automatically lends itself to a certain degree of almost a low budget aspect, especially with the earlier stuff because of the technology that was available. And that was one of the big things that hindered probably the Blair Witch in particular, because that was one of the big ones, and the shaky cam and everything. Once again, it's a case of technology and the way that they were doing things. But as technology moved on and cameras improved and
The found footage genre tried to stay in the 90s tech-wise and it made no sense.
It all depends on the film. It all depends on the film. Some of them did, and that did make sense. Others leaned into things, and as a result, those ones, if they didn't stand out by way of their story being better, at least they stood out by way of their production value being a bit better. The 2016 Blair Witch, visually speaking at least, vast improvement because more steady cams, they were able to rely on drone shots and stuff and other bits and pieces.
As much as I didn't like... I like one or two of them, but what was that fucking... What's that? It's like there's a franchise of them now. The found footage ones.
Oh, fucking Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, the Paranormal Activity, even though I wasn't like blown away by any of the storylines, I will say the filming style that they had done in it, especially in the first movie, because the boyfriend was a video guy anyway. And
the first one and then like a couple later on.
Yeah, but in the first one, they eliminated that shaky cam shit due to the fact that the boyfriend had, he was a video guy, so it was like his cameras had tripods, he had like fucking stuff, GoPros that he was able to put up in rooms and stuff, and it was like, oh, it's not the most mind-blowing storyline, but it's nice not to have motion sickness while watching the fucking movie. Not that I don't get... I never got motion sickness, but that was actually something that a lot of people...
The first part, you and I went to see it. We were with friends, and there was people coming out just like, "Oh,
look,
the camera."
we all know I wasn't watching that movie when I was in the cinema.
But that's what caught. Like that was.
I thought you were in that. We all went together. There was a group of us.
Yes, and my missus.
Ah, gotcha.
But no, that was part of my problem because like I got into the whole Blair Witch like after, so everybody else had been, oh my god, it's so cool. I finally saw it later, and I was like, oh okay. So I started checking out all this found footage stuff, and I'm like, dude, some of it, it's just motion sickness waiting to be watched.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I don't see how people are enjoying this. I'm trying not to like throw up my popcorn.
Well, it was also, if you couldn't orchestrate a fight scene properly, one of the things you would do is basically like, okay, the guy with the camera gets hit to the ground and we'll just watch the fight unfurl from people's ankles.
Feet everywhere.
Yeah, and it was just a lot of foot action. I'd imagine it's probably why there's so much foot fetishism going on in the modern day.
Pretty sure it's for
That was a joke. That was a joke. Please don't investigate into that anymore. I'm looking at you and Carter specifically.
I was just going to say blame Tarantino.
You're not going to say it.
Like,
I was just blame Tarantino. It's his fault.
No.
It is.
No.
wow, you and Carter, what the hell?
Yeah. Also, don't
Why are
forget
you
the
surprised?
last few weeks.
Why are
the
you
last
surprised?
few weeks. The last few weeks, Buzz is the one who's brought up all the porn.
Thank you.
He-
Yes. He's been.
He hasn't brought
digging
up
a little.
myself
porn,
and
he's just
Carter-
made the dirty comments.
Yeah, myself and Carter might have finished the jokes, but they wouldn't have started if not for Buzz.
The
bringing up
problem with
subject
yourself
matter.
and Carter is where the jokes finish sometimes I'm not, and mostly by me, I mean YouTube are not cool with it.
Do we really care?
YouTube does
Yep,
not
this
like
time
I
it's on
kind
six-
of do, because so many years into the podcast, I'd like to make one book.
But they haven't kicked us off yet.
Yeah, because they're not paying us.
They went tiptoeing through the tulips. That's awesome, Joseph.
Once they're under their thumb. Then they're
Ironically
like,
enough,
oh.
the one permanent flag that we've attained over the last couple of years has kind of nothing to do with us at all whatsoever.
Right. So surprising, but
And then
awesome.
you'd figure that's the way it would go too.
Yeah,
For as much nonsense as we said
I don't know.
that should.
This is something we'll discuss at another time.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
might be relocating
No,
the show somewhere. It's still up in the air.
But for me, moments like possession of Michael King and stuff like that is what kind of kept me wanting to check out some of these found footages because of that whole found that gem in the rough stuff.
There's
I've seen a
definitely
lot of
ones
They're so worth
that
it
come
when you-
out that like
Yeah.
they give you hope because like you kind of like, oh my god, I've seen the last 5 found footage movies I watched are garbage, and then like that 6th one, it's like,
Oh yeah.
I see it. Maybe there's a turnaround, and then here comes another 5.
What happens to me is I end up watching all of them because the couple that really
Yeah.
got me, I had such a good time that I want to have it again, and you end up being sorely
And I
disappointed
think-
sometimes. But I mean, the same could be
I
said
think
for a lot of movie genres.
Yeah,
I think Buzz said it earlier, like possession tends to be like a big found footage. And so I dig possession stuff, so
I like possession stuff. There's a kind of a
Oh,
primal.
a lot of good ones though.
There's a primal reaction with a lot of people because no one likes the idea of something invading your body and essentially you being locked in a box in your own head and having no control over what's happening. That's if you're even locked in a box in your own head and not just spiritually relocated
paranormal,
altogether.
Or even just that whole paranormal where it's that thing that you can't just throw something at and fight. Like it's that, I don't know, I kind of like those weird moments.
Yeah, there's that. There like if you're in a scenario like Scream or even Friday the 13th or something like that to a certain degree, there's something you can do. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
honestly, the dude from Scream, because I'm yet to see any of them be like outside of the fucking sub theories that there's some weird power that comes with the ghost face suit or something like that. Because he for a movie that's based around real people getting dressed up in a suit and going on a serial killer murder spree, the Ghostface does exhibit a lot of Hollywood slasher supernaturalness about him. Do you know what I mean? To a certain degree, as in like for some reason he can get kicked off a second floor building and get up. You know, all of these kind of things, opposed to just lying on the ground and be like, oh, my spine. Oh, my spine. I'm going to feel that in the morning. I'll tell you that straight. It's one of the reasons I like Scary Movie, because at least Ghostface took shit realistically in it. Do you know what I mean? You get rolled down the stairs and he's like, oh,
I
God.
feel like I can. Even I feel like I've got a fighting chance against Ghostface. You know, like I'll lose, That motherfucker's walking out like, that motherfucker tried to gnaw on my ankle.
Man, if I hit him with something hard enough
Like,
and he drops that
fuck
knife, I'm
you
going
know?
to fucking chew Ghostface up.
Or when my couch like floats past me in the living room.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice living here.
Yeah.
Fuck it,
Very
I'm out.
Customarily,
Like, that's all
very
you got.
canonically hard to punch a ghost.
Right.
Ghost
Hit
can
him in
throw a
the head
couch at your head. Very hard to throw a couch at a ghost. Well, you can.
Yeah,
It's the
fridge later.
Sorry, actually, that's a lie. Getting the couch to the ghost, not a problem. It having an actual effect on the
Doing
ghost,
damage.
not so much.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just gonna be like, oh, it threw me. Ha ha ha.
Ghostface, on the other
Idiot.
hand, crack him in the head, keep going until you see grey.
Yep.
Supposedly.
You know, but when
We
I'm
all saw
sitting in the
Michael
living room-
Myers defy fucking
I mean,
human logic.
No, I said
I know.
Ghostface, not Michael Myers, because that's a different.
There's a new movie coming out. We have time.
Oh,
But it's
no.
true, like it's true though. Those slashers do kind of get like a weird
Yo,
human.
this movie's going to be good. Do you know why? It's got cheerleader from fucking
Heroes.
Heroes in it again. Yeah.
Are we still talking about Halloween?
No, the new Scream movie.
Oh, okay.
Cheerleader from
I
Heroes
didn't
is
know
back.
it was in it.
She was in one
That's
already.
cool.
It's in the fourth one. I think.
It's been so long.
She was in the fourth one. One of the reasons she's back is because
It was ambiguous as to whether or not she actually died.
she accidentally twitched on camera, and when she was supposed to be dead, and she said it to Wes Craven because it was the last Scream that Wes Craven was involved in, and she said, "Do we need to retake the scene?" And he was like, "No, we'll leave it in." Leave it
Oh,
in
no,
because he was.
like,
It
I might
gave
look
him a,
at
li- it
more,
gave him
it's
a little
cool.
door. Do you know what I mean? She could be twitching because she's dying, or is she still alive? Do you know what I mean? So he's like, "No, we'll leave
He's
it in."
twitching
Yeah.
because he's got my axe bedded in his nervous system.
Probably also because Wes Craven was a good businessman and was like, since Heroes, everyone just has that girl in her soul. Do you know what I mean? She was like the moral compass of the whole group through Heroes. Do you know what I mean?
I'm pretty
At
angry.
least for the
Are
first
you
couple
all right,
seasons.
Buzz?
then
You look like you're about to have a fucking aneurysm.
Yeah, because I forgot that Scream movie was coming out.
It'll
Now
probably
you
be...
reminded
Dude, the
me.
last one wasn't bad. The last one was quite good, actually.
Even I like the last
Yeah,
one. I
last
mean,
one, last one
that's
was pretty...
so-
The one with Jenny Ortega? I
Yeah,
thought that was pretty good.
and I'm like
Yeah.
not as good, big of a Scream fan.
But they're
as
gonna
I do.
be in New York this time, and then it's gonna be bad.
I don't think so. It's the same group. It's Jenny Ortega and the sister. They've moved...
Yeah, but they're in New York.
Yeah.
Remember the last time a slasher went to New York?
This
No,
is
because he never made it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
This is a different set of circumstances.
You didn't hop on a boat and just kind of hover on the boat for.
Call me...
45 minutes
if
of the
you
movie.
told me I was going to see...
Like
fucking-
Manhattan.
If you told me I was going to see Jason Voorhees sailing a boat, I would have been like, bullshit. That's not going to happen. And there you go.
I would-
Oh, it's a yacht,
I would-
thankfully. Oh, thank God it's a yacht. That makes so much more sense.
That's totally different.
If you told me Jason Voorhees is going to be like sailing a boat, for some reason I'd imagine him in a tricorn and a Jolly Roger flying over the boat.
Like, there's also the problem where you're like, the guy can visibly teleport, guys. Why is he fucking riding a boat? Why didn't he just do the thing and be in
I'd
New
just
York?
go there.
Little vacay, gonna do a boat ride.
Maybe it's
before I
like
get
one
back
of
to
those
the-
X-Men powers, you know, where he has needed to see the place before he can actually appear there.
Or know what it's like.
Yeah, do you know, like if he knew
That
what a
explains
restaurant
why
in
he-
New York looked like, he could just go to the restaurant, you know. So maybe he needed to do some recce
But then,
location.
but then when he gets there and it's
And
like, wow,
Peggy
this
there for
place
some reason, I
oddly
don't know.
looks like Vancouver, not New York. This is weird. This is very weird.
I think it's
Similar
good. I think it's because he took that left turn in Albuquerque.
It was probably in Canada Town. Don't they have like Chinatown and fucking everything? It's probably Canada Town.
It's Canada just
I don't think we've gotten Canada
rolling
down.
in makeup syrup and hockey sticks and Molson.
Yeah, it's just yeah. It's just a load of guys fucking wearing a lot of denim. There's a lot of a lot of plaid shirts going on. Some guy be like, "Oh, why don't you tug one, bud?" There'll be a lot of that.
Canadian tuxedos all over the place.
That's what I meant by the denim. That's what the
Denim
Canadian
on
tuxedo
denim.
is. Yeah. I won't lie to you. I wore one of my characters in DayZ wore a Canadian tuxedo for an entire run, and it felt great.
Not a bad look if you can pull it off.
See, therein lies the problem. Not everybody can pull it off.
Nope. Bret Hart does.
The old Canadian tuxedo. But I think that's me until we get into the actual debate side of the movies. So which I'll figure out how that's going to go by the time we get there. We will be in the GC battle room. We just might be standing at podiums arguing with each other opposed to being in an actual fight.
Hi, fellow Gorecasters.
I've been given a dream, and now I'm going to inflict that dream on all of you, because if I have to have that kind of crap running in my head, so do you!
Right. Hey, why don't you take a purple dice out of the roll bin and roll us up another movie there, Giz.
So, where are we going now? There we go.
It's that sigh that he does like right before.
Well, Buzz got a 1, character got a 6, I got a 9. It's kind of a definitive. It's going to be me then. So, anyway, back in 2007, Spain decided to take its shot at the found footage genre.
Again.
And thank the gods that it did. What do you mean again?
Again, because there was Spanish found footage movies before that.
All right. Well, anyway, moving swiftly along. In this, taking the form of the film Wreck. Now, once again, the key to this is, as Johnny pointed out, having a viable setup for the reason that we're seeing the camera. And in this case, it's because the character Angela, hang on a second now, the actress's name is, there we go, Manuela Velasco. She's playing Angela Vidal, who is the host of While You Were Sleeping, which is this program on a local Spanish TV station that highlights basically highlights the good work that's done while most people are asleep by emergency services and other people who will be operating in the city between the hours of sunset and sunup. In this case, on this particular night, herself and her cameraman Paolo. Is it Pablo or Pablo?
It's kind of
Pablo.
like Cops, except there's a nice looking blonde Spanish lady as a presenter for the show, opposed to a Geordie lad being like, why some guy's been driving 90 miles an hour up the goddamn fucking motorway.
Also, it doesn't focus on police at all, so it's nothing like Cops. Well, maybe it does. This particular one is like there's, but yeah, herself and Pablo are off to a fire station. They're taking a tour around. They're being given the rundown, explained what kind of stuff they usually do, what the setup is. Now, over the course of the interview, Angela even says, "Look, we don't want anything bad to happen, but for the sake of what we're doing, it'd be nice if something happens."
One of you could, maybe light up a little bit of paper in a bin, something that we can get the hose out for, maybe.
Well,
I'm just saying, if we could get a little whoop whoop on the sirens, just to make it look like there's a bit of action going. That'd be great.
Yeah, her thing is, look, we don't want anything to happen, but if something did happen, that'd be really fucking cool because we'd be able to film it. And sure enough, they get a call. Something's after happening. There's an old woman who is trapped in her apartment building. So Pablo and Angela go along with the two firemen primarily.
We'll call them Fireman
Alex
A and Fireman B.
Or we call them Alex and Manu because that's their actual names.
We'll call them Fireman A and Fireman M.
You call them that if you want. But anyway, Alex and Manu have arrived onto the building. There's a couple of law boys there, Sergio and his older partner, who are very curious as to why the fuck is there a film crew with you? Oh, it's okay. They have permission. They're filming us. It's this whole thing. Yes, Angela's like, yes, we have permission. We can do it. Fine. You have permission. But if I tell you to turn off the camera, you're turning off the fragging camera. Agreed? Agreed. Cool. Rock on.
Because cops don't like cameras.
Yeah. You then get to record the stupid shit that they've done, like beating the crap out of innocent people. Anyway,
they care in Spain.
Yeah, like they care. Anyway, they go to the room of one Miss Esquerdo, who is. They get the door open. They go inside. Miss Esquerdo is basically kind of like standing there in her nightgown, and she seems very out of it. Now, they try to approach her. They try to see what the story is, and it doesn't take long before she decides she's going to take a fucking chunk out of one of them. Because the story is she's gone knucking batshit insane, and it's dinner time. Her dinner time. And
when you said knucking, I thought you were going to go a different direction with the rest of that sentence, to be honest.
You've never heard me saying knucking futz before?
Yes, I have. That's the direction I thought you were going to go, but you didn't.
Well, yeah,
you were like, she goes knucking batshit insane. I was like, no.
Yeah. Anyway. They managed to get out of there. One of the cops, the older cop is bitten. I think it's Manu agrees to kind of like stay in the room and keep an eye on things as everybody else goes downstairs. When they get downstairs, they very quickly learn that the entire apartment building has been quarantined by the Spanish police or the Spanish medical, the Spanish equivalent to the CDC, basically. There is apparently a dog who was belonging to one of the residents that had been sent to a vet. The vet was, I think, bitten by the dog. There was an incident at the vet. They now know that the dog was infected. They suspected that whatever the dog was infected with, people in the apartment building could be infected as well. So they're sealing off the building. This is automatically a problem because the owner of the dog, herself and her daughter, the daughter is sick. And everyone's automatically, what the fuck? No, my daughter was sick the whole time. She had this whole fever. It's, her dog has been sent to the vet and, she's got tonsillitis. That's all it is. It's just tonsillitis. Meanwhile, as they're having this discussion and everyone in the building is getting a little bit paranoid, Manu, the firefighter that was left with the old lady, comes sailing over the balcony and goes splat on the ground, which is a bit of a thing. So they go upstairs, and it doesn't take long to realize that things have gotten out of control vastly. The old lady that bit the cop, and it all goes tits side up. The bite is infectious. It's zombieism. People are running around. They're trying to get into other apartment buildings to keep themselves safe. At one point, the residents are brought to the basement where they can be sealed off. The people who are injured are put separately. One of the guys that's in the apartment building, one of the residents, is a medical student, so he very badly attempts to take charge of the situation. As this is going on, Angela is continuing to conduct interviews with people who are living in the building. So as a result, we get kind of a patchwork look into the lives of the people in the building, the events that led up to it, who people think is responsible for it. Whether it's the immigrant couple who are always cooking strange food, or the little girl with her dog, or this thing, or this thing. We get a brief intro for all the different characters. And while this is going on, we still have the fact that the building is being quarantined. The cops inside are receiving instructions from outside. Angela and the people trapped inside are becoming even more nervous with the situation. Eventually, it's decided they're going to try and get out through the basement. Unfortunately, the key to the basement is in one of the other apartments, and when they go to get it, everything goes shit side up when more people get bitten, forcing Angela and Pablo to retreat to the penthouse apartment, which we have been told is being rented out by a mysterious individual. Eventually they get into it. It turns out it's what I can best describe as a scientifically inclined priest who is the kind of person that's called in to debunk certain possession incidents. If there's a scientific way to figure out what this is, this dude's trying to find it. And unfortunately, in this particular case, a young girl was cited as being possessed. The church took possession of the young girl. This priest was brought in because he is basically the scientific equivalent of their exorcism division. He isolated an enzyme in the girl that he believed corresponds with whatever's going on. Call it demonic possession, call it behavioral fuck up, whatever. This enzyme mutates. They
essentially try to make a possession inoculation.
Yeah, kind of. They're trying to figure out how to solve this. Unfortunately, what ends up happening is quite the opposite. The enzyme mutates, and that's what leads to this almost zombie-like disease that's being spread through everyone else. The end of the movie is the camera goes to night vision so they can see what they're doing, and it does give a reveal. Now, what's interesting about this film is, in and of itself, Wreck is a fantastic movie. Good enough that America decided to bastardize it with their own piss-poor version of it, which was fucking terrible. But it also led to 3 other movies. It has a direct sequel, which sees the story continue on literally moments. Well, actually, technically, the story continues from about midway through the movie from somebody else's perspective, but also carries the story from where we saw Angela's character last. Mm-hmm. There's a prequel side story in Rec 3 whereby we get more information on how the inciting incident starts. Also an event that's taking place pretty much at the same time as what happens with the apartment. And then we finally get a resolution with the film Rec 4 whereby they actually take themselves out of the found footage scenario that we've seen for the previous. Well, they kind of half did it with Rec 3 whereby it's half found footage, half traditional storytelling. And they lean more into that with the 4th movie. We have surveillance cameras, but it's more of a traditional film. But overall, the story itself is really, really good. It starts off, like I said, in this first movie. All the pieces are laid there that they build on for later films. But even just for what it is, fantastic version of a found footage movie with the added bonus of having a realistic reason for the camera being there, for the camera being lost, and for basically everything that happens in it. Because up until that last, well, people do get a little bit choppy during the movie, but up until that last scene whereby everything is properly explained, you think that you're watching what can be equated to a zombie virus type movie in this found footage scenario, and then the lid kind of gets ripped open at the end, and then the rest of the movies expand on all of that. But even just for what it is, Rec is so good that, like I said, imitated, won numerous awards, and in my opinion stands up as being an example of how this genre should be fucking
I
done.
actually love that flip at the end where you find out that you're like, oh, this isn't a zombie movie.
Yeah,
Right.
the zombies are just a...
Delivery device, essentially.
Well, I was going to say the zombies are actually just a symptom of the larger issue at hand.
Yeah.
Which is pure evil is
But
up
that
in
the
the
zombies
fucking...
aren't even zombies either. Do you know what I mean?
No, they kind of are.
Are they the living dead?
Yeah.
They're not, though.
They all, I believe heart function stopped before they all got up again. Because they are the living dead. Because they thought there was at least one case that they thought a person was dead and corpse got up and started going chompy.
Right.
Possibly even the old lady at the start, because they shot her when she bit the cop.
Yeah, fucking old ladies, you can't trust them.
Yep.
But the undead part of it is a byproduct of the main issue, which, like I said, gets explored more thoroughly in the other films. You know, but yeah, definitely Wreck is how you do this type of film right, and helped, I suppose, by the fact that they did at the very beginning establish we're actually using an actual cameraman who actually knows what he's actually doing. Even in the second movie, it's a bunch of kids with a handheld camcorder, and even they managed to, for the most part, avoid the shaky cam tragedy that happens with so many other of these films. But yeah, it's really good. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you've been unfortunate to see the film Quarantine, I know it's been blank from your mind because it's fucking bollocks. Don't worry, go check out what they were trying to fucking do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't even try and defend that movie.
Are you going to try and defend Quarantine, dude? Because don't.
I was just gonna say I didn't hate Quarantine.
Had you seen Wreck before you saw Quarantine?
Yes.
Michael.
I-
You're...
And the battle begins.
Kit sounds really angry at you, Carter. I'm just going to throw that out there.
As I said, Michael, what are you doing? Stop that.
Do you know they're
Don't do
playing that on the Horror Channel for some reason, and I don't know why.
Rider?
Knight Rider, yeah. I clicked into the Horror Channel, and I thought it was. Do you know the way sometimes on your TV, they've like changed the channels around, and it still shows up as one channel and the other one, and then the Horror Channel logo came up, and I was like, What the fuck is going on here? I actually...
Maybe they got a bundle deal when they got something else.
I mean, it is pretty scary how Hasselhoff has had his career. I mean, I don't know.
He had Knight Rider and Baywatch, two of the most popular TV shows from their genres. That's
Right.
basically it.
And not be like a
And
great
also
actor. to do-
possibly also one of
And
the
a
only
scene
good
for-
renditions of Nick
A
Fury.
talking car? Oh, yes.
Okay,
Fucking straight.
It's a terrible
I will
movie, but
give
he's a really good Nick Fury.
Like if you-
I'll give him the theory, but I mean, come on, dude.
Because he's
I
Nick
watch-
Fury.
Also his
technically closer
music.
to Samuel L. Jackson's. They literally rewrote all of the fucking comic books to fit around Samuel L. Jackson, not the other way around.
Yeah, like
Right.
the dialogue that Hasselhoff delivers is on point for at the time. Right? That's terrifying in and of itself.
Yeah.
Knight Rider, or Nick Fury was the best thing I'd seen out of him. I'm amazed.
You didn't
that
like Knight Rider?
with, I
That hair
mean,
and those leather pants? My God, it's fucking amazing.
dude, I know. It's a time
Don't forget
period.
about his music career over in
Oh,
Germany.
dude, the fact that Germany loves him more than we do is amazing.
That says something.
Not really.
As much as we. Sorry.
The man can sing, like, in his defense. Not my type of music, but he's got an actual physical good ability to sing, if memory serves me correctly.
He can sing better than I can, so I'm not saying that he's a bad singer. It's
And
not really
also,
my bag.
for a guy who was as famous as he was, when all of the kind of, don't mess with the Hoff and all the funny meme stuff, in his credit, man, he just got on board and rode the wave.
Dude, he staggered his career. Like, he just leaned into it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So now that we've fully discussed the virtues of David Hasselhoff, should I roll dice and we get back to the actual point of this fucking of tonight's episode?
Well, funnily enough, my thing is the career of David Hasselhoff, found footage. You know,
Okay, cool.
so
We'll
we're
let
good.
Giz roll those 2 dice there, and hopefully that's what will come up. I didn't talk to you, Google.
Good news, Buzzles. You get to tell us about your found footage about David Hasselhoff.
Oh, awesome.
I feel like there may have been some weirdness because I said I like quarantine. How I did not win that role.
Are you assuming? I'm sorry. Do you actually think that I'm somehow able to influence dice rolls? Because if I am, you clearly have not been paying attention.
Also,
like
you
this
still have to
point.
go, so why would
No,
it be the point?
I've literally kiboshed so many of his ideas just due to the fact that I roll well.
All right. So,
I don't know why I roll well.
unfortunately,
It's not even me rolling. He rolled dice for me today. I got a 10.
fortunately, I will not be doing anything David Hasselhoff related.
God damn it!
You lied to me.
I just
I
told
thought you were
you
going
guys
to review
something
Kung
that-
Fury, a found footage movie about a man who travels through time to fight Hitler and a fucking large robotic dinosaur.
that's for part 2 of
I
this.
fucking, can I say, before you get into it, I love that movie so fucking much. So fucking much.
All right. So I picked. All right. I picked The Taking of Deborah Logan. That is the title. Should be Possession, should be whatever, but it's not. It's The Taking of Deborah Logan. It is a found-footage film that came out in 2014, and I will set it up kind of similar to the way other guys. What?
I was just amused by the way you said 14.
2014
Yeah, it was effectively
and
2014.
$14 billion.
Yes. Very good.
And I'll set it up as kind of the same way that you guys set yours up. The reasoning why we are in found footage for this film is we have a med student named Mia who is doing her thesis on, oh my God.
Mental illness. For the elderly.
Mental illness. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why I had Alzheimer's, kind of. Not Alzheimer's. What the hell is she doing it on? Anyway, mental illness. I literally just watched the movie today. And
She's doing a project on Buzz.
Yeah, there you go. See? Found footage. It's live right now. Yeah. She's doing a thesis, and they pick a subject, or not they pick. I think they're contacted because they put out a thing saying, hey, we're doing this thesis. It pays money. And that is answered by Sarah Logan, the mother, not the former WWE superstar, current.
Thanks for clarifying that, because that's instantly where my brain went.
That's where my brain went for some reason as soon as it
Someone's
came out of my
about to
mouth.
get
I
murdered
don't
by
know
a
why.
Viking lady.
Yeah. But yeah, so it is, she answers, they come up to the Logan residence, and she's like, do you guys, it's got the money, Mia's doing a film project, hence, like I said, why we got the cameras, for her thesis paper and all that stuff, to get a good grade at her school. Wonder what grade she gets.
I would say college. It seems like a fairly advanced assignment for a school.
Oh yeah, I know. I wonder what grade she got, not what grade she was in. But yeah, we'll find out at the end.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we don't.
Yeah, she
don't
probably
know.
won't find out
Well, I'll
at the
get
end,
into that. No, she probably got an F for incomplete assignment.
F. For fucking death.
But yeah, so Mia and crew go to the Logans. We meet Sarah and Deborah, Sarah's mother, who is kind of showing the signs of the disease. She's not fully far off of it just yet. It's kind of
Early stages.
It's supposedly in its early stages.
Onset.
Yeah, onset. Yeah, whatever. Trying to think. I don't know why I'm so thrown off right now. I was like all good and everything, and then I'm just for some reason it's like my turn, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Remember that when it
Alzheimer's,
comes to
there it is.
voting later on, kids.
Yeah. So
Try to
anywho,
sway the decision.
originally Deborah is not on board. She thinks, they're going to try to, take advantage of her and stuff like that. And so she originally is like, nah, I don't want you guys to actually do this. Maybe pick somebody else. And then her daughter's like, we need the money. Like, we need to keep the house. We need like help for paying for your like medical research and everything that's going on. So eventually, a week later, Deborah decides, yeah, sure, whatever. So the camera crew comes back, and we get started, and it kind of just typical things start happening. We kind of get Mia discussing, like via video, like what Alzheimer's is, what it does to the patient as well to the people around them, how it affects just regular day activities that like people take for granted, like being able to count change. And we see this through video footage of Deborah at like the store and stuff like that, and just her, just forgetting things, saying like, I've had a couple of senior moments here and there where I just kind of forget something.
Welcome in, Hickage, by the way.
Blue.
Hey, Cags.
And then things start to happen. Deborah starts to have some erratic behavior.
Some would say very non-Alzheimer's like behavior.
Yeah, where it's like, I don't remember.
Telekinesis is
yeah, being able to, levitate from the ground on top of the counter.
I'm going to need to check my textbooks, but I'm pretty sure that's not your standard symptom of Alzheimer's.
Yeah. Didn't know you had levitation powers. If so, maybe I should get Alzheimer's. That's
telekinesis, Buzz.
What if it turns out? What if it turns out she had magical powers all the time, and Alzheimer's just meant that she forgot she was supposed to keep them under wraps when in public?
Maybe
that'd be really cool. If that was a plot point that they put in the movie that we were specifically talking about, I'd have been.
I'm not going to lie. That's actually something out of Grimm, whereby a bunch of they had a bunch of them in the old folks' home, and they forget that they're old folks, and they kind of every now and then go out. And hunt.
Oh, they forget they're monsters. Yeah.
They know they're monsters. They forget they're old.
Oh, they forget to keep the old people mask on.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just like, I'm going to go have fun, like I did in my glory days. Hump.
Yeah. So
what about that shit?
Get back into bed, you crazy old waterhog.
I'm gonna eat your dicks. No, really.
Yeah. So Deborah, just like I said, just kind of has very non-Alzheimer outbreaks, and peeling off her own skin, and
so it just makes it really uncomfortable to share a room with her.
Yeah, use the same soap. Probably won't be doing that anytime soon.
If you and a snake were sharing a small room and you were watching that snake shed its skin, wouldn't you be a little bit like, can you do that in private?
Yeah.
No,
right.
That's
or at least put on some music that suits the situation, like little da 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 da.
They're like, you need privacy.
The door.
The minute I ripped off my skin,
you were a man of distinction, a real big spender.
As time goes on, I just completely ignoring everything that's going on.
Yeah, I noticed.
As time goes on, would be the only way that I'm actually going to move forward is not partake.
Best of luck with that one.
Don't age. Don't.
As time moves forward, and she kind of, after incidents here and there, with the whole trying to rip her own throat out and stuff like that, and she keeps kind of going back and forth to the hospital. One time she goes and the doctor's like, this is progressing faster than we think. And then Sarah's kind of like, well, I thought, 2-3 years. And then they're like, nah, we don't know. Cause there's just crazy shit going on and just stuff's not adding up to where, we think
she threw Dr. Dan across the room with her mind powers fucking 2 hours ago.
She did. Yeah. So more and more we find out that there's something more than this whole little Alzheimer's thing that might be going on here. And we kind of find out in a way a little bit what that is. Demons and snakes. A lot of snake stuff in this movie.
Snakes are affiliated with the demons.
Dambala.
Yeah. Oh, whatever word he just said.
Zombie snake.
So there you go. Yeah. Anywho,
If Buzz ever has to read a text to save the world, it's gonna go real Evil Dead, real fucking quick.
Fuck yeah. That is exactly what I was thinking. Blah, blah,
end.
blah,
Nante,
yakety
Anosta,
blah, 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 yakety schmackety.
demon possession and save the world.
Raining OG.
So, while at the hospital, for the third time, because she keeps just going back and forth.
Hey, if you've got a hospital set, you might as well fucking use it.
Yeah, you might as well use it.
I was just about to
and they'd use it.
Speaking personally,
well
if you have one of those gift cards, you get like a free toy on like your 5th or 6th visit.
I think it's called a medical card. I don't think they call it health gift cards.
I'm also pretty sure it wasn't a free toy. I just, ripped off one of those vending machines. Anyway.
Okay. Anywho. I guess
there's a still frame there where people are going to think the stream paused, and it was actually 3 of the other hosts just trying to comprehend what Giz just said. It's just like.
So.
Deborah Logan, she's got Alzheimer's, and she's in the hospital for the third time.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Back to
trick the doctors.
If we ever throw you off track, just ask fucking Johnny Repeat-O-Matic.
Okay. So yeah, we find out kind of what might be possibly what might be causing this, but there's something to do with I forgot his
she has
name.
An underlying she has an underlying condition that it can be explained by.
Sure.
That's what I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't know. That didn't sound like it was a question. It just sounded like it was a statement.
Let me
sure.
Giz's tone sometimes throws people off. It's an underlying condition that people are able to justify everything that's happening by her.
Yes,
okay, there you go.
They try to. They do this whole little spinal tap thing. They like stab a little needle in her back, and some ooze comes out. Yeah.
A lighting rig just falls down and sets it on fire.
A drummer mysteriously explodes for no reason.
Yeah. So that's taking a Deborah Logan. I give up.
Don't give up now. You were doing so well.
No, I wasn't. I give up. It's a movie about an old lady. Shit doesn't seem to be as what it is. It isn't. Snakes, possession, creepiness. Go watch it.
I love it. Snakes, possession.
Yeah. Well, I mean, am I wrong?
No. I just loved it.
And one of the most gifable horror scenes ever, where Deborah Logan turns into a snake and tries to eat a child.
Does that actually happen?
Yeah. Well, did you see the movie?
No.
Oh, you should see the movie. It's a great movie.
That's why I asked you questions about it.
Yeah, he wasn't taking the piss out of you. There were genuine
I didn't
questions.
know you didn't see the movie. Yeah, well, go see it. It's fun. It's good. I almost said it's funny, but it's not. Nowhere near funny at all.
Probably depends what you're into.
No, even if you want to try and view it in a funny way, it's not a funny movie.
No.
Once again, I think if
actually very sad.
No. Okay.
No, I remember. I think I've only seen this the one time. I don't know. It seemed like it moved a little slow, though, for me. Like I remember, not necessarily being bored, but just like I don't know. Like it just seemed like it was. It took forever.
It's a movie that I don't want to say it like it's diverts you to kind of like you're brought into the movie thinking one thing and it goes like a hard right to what is like almost like I want to say the main plot, but like you think it's mainly just about Deborah and her whole thing going with the Alzheimer's and everything, but you come to realize that there's something more behind obviously what is going on, and like once it goes that way, it's like, oh shit, I didn't expect that turn. You kind of think it was almost like is this kind of like another way of a term of Alzheimer's being like possession, like not an actual possession, but maybe like a metaphor for possession. And we go a different way to like, no, there's actually a possession going on. And
I do remember them doing some good scenes where, like you were saying, where you don't know if it's left or right, where she just kind of winds up in the woods or outside. It's just that whole like, how the fuck do you get out here?
Yeah, it definitely takes like a hard turn because it definitely sets up it's setting you up for like, you know, the whole, you know, the relationship between Sarah and Deborah. Like that's really the key thing going on at the beginning, and like how it feels to, you know, watch somebody go through it, as well as, because Mia is kind of us. Mia is the one that is doing the documentary. She's kind of us in this movie, so she's kind of like we're watching. So it's like you're seeing the total, and that's what the whole point of her thesis was, is to not only see the effects on the patient, but as well as the effects on the caregiver. And that's really where what we're kind of seeing in the first, you know, good about first half of the movie, until, you know, subplot B gets brought in. You're like, oh shit, that's not what I was expecting. And it's what is the thing that I like about it, is it's, you think it's this, you think it's this, you think it's this, it's okay. And then, like I said, it does this quick right turn. You're like, oh shit. And then you're going off here and you're trying to figure out this story now. And it's definitely, like Carter said, it is kind of a little bit of a slower build, but it's a character driven thing. Like I was saying, with our choices being more about the development of the characters as opposed to the story. I mean, it's not saying they push back the story itself, but it's definitely heavier character driven, especially at the first part of the movie. And then once the crazy shit starts happening, then we're definitely going off to, okay, we're established the characters. We feel whatever we do for the characters. Now it's time to deal with this shit. And you're like, oh shit. And it's a good movie.
No,
I did a better job in talking about it in that last, like,
I remember
5 minutes that I did the previous 20.
It was that slow start to it, but I remember once things kicked off, like I was definitely.
And the performances are great. Like this is probably like Jill Larson, who plays Deborah, so good in this movie as Deborah. Just like her like the facial reactions and just her reactions in general, just like it looked like she's like, you know, just like completely lost at some points. And Anne Ramsey, who plays Sarah, her daughter, was really, really good. And then there's Michelle Ang, who plays Mia. There's a couple other camera guys. They're not really, I mean, they're just there to be, we're setting up the tech. They don't really add that much to the story. But the main three people, Deborah, Sarah, and Mia, are all done really well. And I just, like I said, I just like it because of the, okay, we're going this way, and then boom, we have that hard right turn. And it's a turn that I didn't expect when I first saw it, because I'm just like, like I said, I just thought this was going to be a metaphor for, you know.
Sorry, when you said Michelle Ang, I knew that name sounded familiar. Huh. She's the voice of Omega in the Star Wars Bad Batch cartoon.
Oh.
And she was also in, she played one of the demons in the kind of remake of the Monkey series that came out there a couple of years ago.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So, like I said, I just like originally just thinking is kind of, you know, a metaphor for is like Alzheimer's, kind of feeling like you're possessed, you know, kind of not being in your mind and something else taking over. But like I said, it just has that.
Some would use the word allegory.
Allegory. What do I guess? A metaphor, but yeah, I guess that works too. Yeah. So that's Taking a Deborah Logan, 2014. It's got 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Awesome.
I don't know why I wrote that down, but yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Right. Next up, we have Carter, because we don't need to roll dice to figure this one out, because he's the last one.
Fine. Would be roll. I don't know. Anywho, all right. So,
are you complaining about having to do your movie?
Cool. Just say I didn't get to like a roll before I got to do mine, but it's all good. Whatever.
Giz, would you mind terribly rolling one dice for me, please? Who won?
I'm not quite sure. It was a bit of a tie.
Oh.
I'll have to re-roll.
Okay, re-roll there just to double check, just to make sure, so we have a definitive answer.
I hate this so much right now.
I win.
Which means we all lose.
Usually.
Oh, Buzz. All right. So excuse me, while everybody else is like going zombies and possession. One of the ones that I dug the hell out of was called Troll Hunter, and it came out in 2011, and it's a Norwegian film. Excuse me. Three film students from college decide that they want to do a thing about there's bears in this country. I can't remember where it was, or this area. When bears kind of get out of control, there's very few licenses released to hunters. And so it's kind of a big deal when one of the hunters get a license to go take care of the bear problem. But the problem is, like, a lot of the bear hunters are kind of pissed because there's this one guy that always pops up, kind of hanging out with everybody, and they think he's a poacher. And so this decide, you know what? We're going to fucking interview a poacher and see what the fuck his life's like. Excuse me. And so it takes a little bit. Like, every time they're trailing him around, they're trying to get him to talk to him, and he's just kind of like, go fuck yourself. And so they decide to, like, okay, we're just going to, like, trail this motherfucker at night, stalk him in the woods, because that's a good idea, and just catch him in the fucking act and see if he'll finally fucking talk to us. And things go south. And finally they're like, dude, just let us, film you, talk to us. He's like, cool. Well, if you're going to do that, you might as well know I'm a troll hunter. They're like, excuse me? What? Trolls. I hunt trolls. And so come to find out, this man has a job. He's kind of like the MIB of this joint. We don't talk about it. Nobody knows about it. And his job is, we have trolls in certain areas, and they pretty much stick to their own area. But every now and then they kind of lean out. And when that happens, they start fucking up farmland or people. Oh, boy's got to go out, take care of the fucking problem. Excuse me. And the three film students decide, okay, this is fucking cool. So they start following him to pretty much record everything he's doing. And the whole shtick is, he's like, look, dude, I don't get overtime. I don't get hazard pay. Fuck it. Let's put this shit on Channel 9. Let the fucking world know. Maybe then some better shit will come up.
People start getting eaten by these fucking trolls.
Hey, like, we'll stop hiding it under, like, bear attacks and shit. And I don't know. Maybe I'll get some, like, 401 in this motherfucker. I don't know. But either way, might not be such a shitty job. And so, come to find out, yeah, trolls are fucking real. There's a shit tons of different varieties. And this motherfucker spent most of his life just fucking keeping them in. I was almost like keep them in tow, but like just keeping them where they're supposed to be, and hiding the fact that trolls.
He's a troll
real.
wrangler.
Yeah, he's a troll wrangler, and it was kind of cool because it's like a lot of found footage. Yeah, like part of the problem I talked about earlier is there's the whole running and the motion sickness. Part of what I liked about this is so much of it is, it's not tripod steady, but it's like they've got a sound engineer and a camera person. A lot of it is so steady. And then when it finally does go south, it's because like, oh shit, we have to run for our lives. And so you get a little bit of it. And I don't know, it felt like, it's weird to say like real life, but it just felt more natural than some of the found footage films that I had seen. Excuse me. 2011, I feel like the name says it all. Are there trolls? Is he weird? No, there's fucking trolls. And old boy's a fucking hunter. Excuse me. Trying to think of like any. Shot well. One of the things I liked about it is it's pretty much like a real small cast. You've got the three students. You've got him a lot of the times. And then just teaching them pretty much all of this shit that there is about trolls. There's a lot of CGI when it comes to the trolls, but it looked good. Excuse me.
Trolls.
Windsor.
The end.
Sorry, now I was reading the chat. For some reason that caught me.
Ignore the chat.
No, that was
Do your thing.
I tried. I'm sorry. No, that's about it. It's a real short and simple movie, and I think that's kind of what I liked about it the most. Is there's no real big. Are they going to go left or are they going to go right? It's just straight out. What it is what it is. and it's just the kids following this guy around trying to do his thing.
Well, when you have a movie called Troll Hunter, it's kind of hard to go left or right.
Right, exactly.
Just go straight.
So I liked it because it was just simple for what it was, but yet really shot really well. Story's good. It's not like they're trying to pull shit out of their ass. It just kind of follows that cool, like, it might be, we're just trying to hide it from the people kind of thing.
That'd be a cool magic trick, though, if they started pulling shit out of their ass.
Especially if it was a troll, canonically quite a large creature.
Yeah. Quite a few of them were not small by any means.
Oh, look, it's Dave!
Right.
Pull Dave
Good old Dave troll ass. Is that the end of your Troll Hunter?
Yep.
Epic has now because of Dave Troll ass.
You've heard everyone's postulations about why their movie is great. We're going to come back after a quick trailer where we're going to do our final thoughts on what you think. If you're going to watch one movie tonight after the show, it should be our movie. We'll catch you in a mo. Just an extra mo there because there's so many layers I have to scroll through. Just a minute there now.
Okay, I think I got this one. All right. Okay. Look, if there's anyone out there that still gives a fuck about me at all, right? I'm sorry. Okay, we thought we had this. We thought we could come out here, we could shoot the video, it would all work out, but we were fucking wrong, all right? We were
Oh, the video quality of this thing is amazing. I love it. I bought it with a friend, and it's all good.
Oh, God. Whew. I don't know how these killers do this the whole time. You want to join myself and the Giz, where we pick apart the found footage style genre of horror. Join us on American Horrors this Sunday, where we're going to be talking about it. Yeah, it's going to be great fun! You just won't die!
Live window. Sorry, we were sorting something there. That was the Gorecast trailer and some very silent clips of me on Twitch.
Animal Watch. The owls are not what they seem. It's the first one. Or Burglar.
And then it ends on the one-armed.
Burglar is the last one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there we go.
Tristan's like, we got a promo, a Twitch clip, and a Twitch twerk. Oh my God, we're spoiled.
Don't say I don't. Watch out for you.
Twitch.
Right. So, do we want to go in the order that we went, or does anyone want to do their opening bits first, or their closing arguments first, or what way do you want to go about it?
I'll go first, because mine's just like some poor schmuck that's about ready to walk into the lion's den.
Right.
When it comes to trolls, he's a bad mofo. Up against like possession and shit, I really don't think he's got a chance. As far as the movie, shot really well. Love the story. And it doesn't have like a lot of that weird chaotic running that most, or shaky cams that a lot of found footage had. They did have it, but it was fitting to the moment. Wow, and all of a sudden I just blinked out there was another point I was about to make. Holy fuck, dude. Like, just right out the fucking window.
So you're saying I don't have to watch this movie with a barf bag nearby?
No barf bags. Jesus.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know what that last point was going to be. Either way, I would go check this one out. Even if you don't like trolls, hey, that works out because this dude's kicking troll ass. So, humans for the win, I guess.
Right.
You're anti-troll, see Troll Hunter.
Okay, we'll go to Buzz next because we'll just do them in reverse order. Seeing as Carter's going to go first. It just makes sense.
Okay. So go with my movie because it's a very good character-driven film. But performances are really good, especially from the main three of our cast. And it's a very, I don't want to say heartwarming because it's not, obviously no good really comes of it, but like, I mean, like heartbreaking is probably more. That's normally the opposite of heartwarming, heartbreaking. So yeah, I'll go with heartbreaking. It's definitely heartbreaking to see with like, Sarah, and like just seeing how her mom is just falling further and further into said disease of, yes, that too. But yeah, it's like I said, the twist does come out of nowhere. I can see where some people are like, okay, some people get taken out from the film if with the twist, but I enjoyed it. I honestly don't really remember. There's not a lot. There might be shaky shit, so I mean, I honestly can't remember. Like I said, I just watched it earlier today, but I wasn't really paying attention on it. There was a lot of shaky shit going on, so, but I don't know, just really acted well. Has a nice little twist. If you like character-driven films, watch Taking a Deborah Logan. Logan. Like I say, the movie right, then that's what you should watch. The Taking of Deborah Logan. There you go. One word at a time.
Thank you for that lovely closing argument.
You're welcome, Giz.
Johnny said that, not me.
No, I was saying you're next because you.
No, you said you're welcome, Giz.
Sure.
Which kind of implies you're thanking me for the compliment that Johnny gave you. Anyway, yeah. So, my pick of Wreck. Once again, prime example of how to do this genre properly. Primarily because they got a good excuse for the camera being there. Even better, it's supposed to be a cameraman, so the shaky cam that Buzz was just talking about doesn't happen that often. And when it does happen, it's because everyone's fucking running along, so you kind of expect it to happen. Overall, the story layout is fantastic. Does take a little bit to get into, but that is because it's good. It draws you in with the idea that you're watching a legitimate well, maybe not news program. You're watching a legitimate current affairs program. You really do feel that you're watching a TV show designed to introduce you to what's going on in your local vicinity, if you happen to be living in this particular Spanish local vicinity. And the story it's the first part of a much grander scheme. And admittedly, it's, the franchise itself is where things go. But even for that first part, it's enough to get people so invested that America thought that they'd, forget what the idea of originality is and just copy them badly. But the rest of the world went, holy crap, that's amazing. The lead actress, Miss Manuela Velasco, has actually gone on to win several awards. Admittedly, not just for this movie, but for the franchise as a whole. But this particular film is where it all started. And like I said, it's done in such a really captivating way. It draws you in with the idea that you're watching real people. The story kicks off, and when it does, the action is fairly well described. It's you're seeing everything that you're supposed to be seeing, and it's just a really fantastic example of how to do the found footage genre correctly. Admittedly, with the right kind of excuses to do it correctly, but fuck it, a good writer should be able to create and concoct those excuses for their film anyway, because it kind of helps matters along, or even good production, whatever way you want to put it. But yeah, go check out Wreck. It's fucking awesome. Don't watch Quarantine. It's bullshit. What are you doing? Don't me. It's bullshit.
I was rubbing my eye. No, I was like rubbing my eye at the time. Dug too deep.
I'm not even going to defend the comments of my co-host. If you have any...
Me or
not remotely you. I totally agree with everything you're saying in relation to this.
Okay.
There's not a word that you said that was untrue in relation to Quarantine.
He doesn't agree with Carter's groans.
Well, no, also Quarantine. Quarantine's
I agree with his groans if it turns out he's in genuine anguish and pain.
See, Tristan agrees with me.
Wow.
Target is expletive deleted. I'm sorry. One would assume she meant the right cat shit.
Right. Closing arguments for me. Possession of Michael King. One of the things that, and one of the reasons I like picking it and recommending it to people is it came out in a time when there was a lot of terrible found footage. This movie, unfortunately, kind of goes under the radar for a lot of people, even though anyone who's seen it has had a relatively positive view on the movie. And I like trying to spread the word of it out there. Because, as I said, when it did come out initially was when, what's the best way of putting it, the found footage genre was at its hottest, and a lot of those hot pieces that came out were steaming piles of poo. And this is, I think, a nugget of gold that got lost in the slew of terrible movies that went out there. Storyline-wise, I think the pacing of it's really good. I think for a movie that essentially just follows one guy around, for the most part, there isn't a lot of additional crew. It's him and his camera guy, and even the camera guy's kind of gone maybe a third of the movie into it. You never get bored. Some of the sequences that he shoots with himself while trying to kind of delve into the level of demonic possession he has going on are really interesting, and due to the fact that it's not your standard 4 guys go off with some cameras to find out, insert random miscellaneous monster thing here. The fact that it is a man that's kind of isolated on his own for a lot of the time. A lot of the angles they had to come at for you to have interactions and views with him as a demon were not seen before, or not in this kind of context anyway, and I thought it was very good. And for a genre that's been going, not found footage, the kind of possession movies genre that's been going for ages, I thought it was a very refreshing look at it, where opposed to it being someone who's been possessed involuntarily or something, you're watching this slew of madness happen, a man that's essentially opened himself up like a doorway for as many demons as he can shove in there, ill-advisedly. And then there's also the very kind of sadistic car crash vibe you get, where you know what's going to happen. You've seen these kind of movies before, and if someone does something like this, it's probably not going to go awfully well. And there's this, as I said, this sadistic car crash fascination where you're like, okay, I kind of need to see where this is going to go now, because I feel it's going to go up 90. And it does. Even the possession scenes himself, it's not like a demon running around a house and affecting a load of people and stuff. There's, as I said, a very graphic and rough stuff where he eventually gets the kid and the sister-in-law to fuck off out of the house, and you're essentially watching a man battle a demon within himself on his own, and it's painful and violent and graphic, and some of the scenes are very, very memorable, with him like slicing himself up and trying to carve symbols into himself, trying to get the demons out, and then the demon just carving him up because it's kind of like, it doesn't hurt me. It's your problem that you're getting cut up, meat puppet. And I think it's just a really fine example of how to do a possession movie and a found footage movie all at the same time. You never really feel taken out of it. You feel like you're looking at everything through Michael King's eyes for the most part. And I think it's just a really fine example of how to do just a good movie in general, let alone a found footage movie. So I would highly recommend this. And if you are going to watch something after the show, I would say it should be this.
I realized both of our films both came out in the same year.
Yep.
2014, the year of things that came out in 2014.
Mm-hmm. Very astute observation.
I try.
Right. How do we want to... or will we put it to the chat?
Yeah.
Sure. Which of the 4 films do you think would be your preferred pick for a found footage night? Which do you think you'd go with first? Or which do you think you'd watch?
Joseph's going outside the box. I'll probably watch The Possession of Nicolas Cage.
That's just watching Nicolas Cage.
Right. I feel like that's just like a Ghost Rider.
No, that was called the History of Swear Words. Wasn't he the host of that?
Oh, God, that was so good.
He's not Irish. He's not allowed to host that.
That turned out so much better than I thought it was going to. This is like The Possession of Aunt Peggy.
I feel that would have a lot of swear words in it.
There we go. There's a poll there, guys. Take a quick vote. We'll give you 2 minutes. Gorecast presenters obviously are not.
While
voting.
we do that, while we're waiting for people to vote, I jotted down some found footage facts. Would you like me to go through those, or just? Okay. So I did a little bit of research.
99% of found footage movies are crap.
I'd say a lower amount. But yeah, so doing my research, the first found footage film claims to be Cannibal Holocaust from 1980.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if that's just
that makes sense.
or it's found footage.
That would make
general.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And then the most successful financially, I'm not saying most successful as it was good, but the most successful made a total of over $140 million.
That doesn't surprise me a bit, though, because I mean, people were talking about that movie for a dog's age.
Exactly. That film came out at the dawning of the internet age,
Right.
let's say, so a lot of it was word of mouth. I personally, definitely suggested to somebody that they should go watch it, and then I fucked up their day by telling them that it was real before they went.
Yeah, that one definitely benefited from the
Internet
which a
being
lot
new.
of that, and just the marketing. Like, there's probably one of the best.
Yeah, that's what I mean by the
marketed
internet being
found
new,
footage.
because people
Yeah.
just believed what was on the internet at that stage.
Right.
Yeah, I think that was only successful at a time that it only could be successful at. Like, if that particular film came out now,
It
it'd
wouldn't
been
work.
like,
that
that's
whole
bullshit.
marketing campaign wouldn't work now. You'd be found out in a minute's time. They
to be-
tried that with
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, they managed to do the movie equivalent of George Orwell's War of the Worlds, where they accidentally
was that?
tricked the entire...
Well, and I've told the story on the show before.
what was that
I
alien
bought it.
movie with Mila Jovovich?
Alien.
Fourth
Yeah,
Kind.
she acts like she's presenting this. It's done like it's an actual
Yeah.
documentary.
And that's where they have like real footage mixed with
None of it's real footage.
archival footage.
Yeah. But none of it's real footage. It's all fucking
No,
fake as fuck.
it's
But they
all-
tried to
yeah.
make that out like it was real, and everyone got found out within
And
a
at
month.
the end, they're like, "You decide if it's real or not." And I was like, "No, it's not."
I didn't decide. I went to Google and I looked up the doctors, and I was like, "They don't exist." All right, cool. That's the end of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never would have thought of Cannibal being the first.
All right, it looks like Wreck.
Yeah, because
quite
the whole idea
deservedly
is
so.
it's a
'Cause it's a
documentary
great movie.
quickly goes
It would
missing.
appear Wreck is the winner.
Woohoo!
Yes.
I win!
Well done.
Victory for the kids!
I'm not even going to argue with it because Wreck's a great movie. You're going to have a good time if you're watching that after the show.
Well, you'll have a good time watching any of them. So why don't you just
Say,
watch
like,
them all?
I don't feel like I lost because any of these titles are good movies.
Right, next up, Buzz has been scouring, which very appropriately for tonight's thing is it's found footage, and it's all about, that kind of, weird shit and people deciding to investigate it. This is some of the weirdest news article titles from on the internet.
Yes, that's where it was found. Yes.
From on the internet. Yeah.
What the fuck's the internet?
Animal Watch. The owls are not what they seem. Arlington, name and presumably location
City
redacted. Responding to a call about an injured owl on the side of the road, an officer found a large mushroom.
I feel whoever reported the injured owl also found a large
Using
mushroom.
the other large mushrooms.
They saw it. Yeah, that's true. There was multiple mushrooms. Now there's just one.
That mushroom's in distress. That's because you ate
Burglar.
all its buddies. Thinks it's next.
We don't need a catchy title for this one, just one large word, bold font. That will get the attention of the peeps.
Gets your attention.
An Oak Hill community couple discovered a thief, even. That's because that's more normally the way the word is said. Discovered a thief in their home Saturday after a man told a joke and heard a laugh upstairs. That's creepy.
Damn, don't be laughing if you're trying to rob people.
Also,
turns out it wasn't a thief.
Also,
House was
presumably,
haunted.
very good joke if someone who's trying to rob your house can't
Yes,
contain
that's
themselves from
true.
upstairs. So well done, that guy, for
probably
being
Jim
some sort of
Gaffigan.
comedic genius. Sewer was blocked by a large poo.
This is a visual. You need to see the large
Yeah,
too.
there it is.
That's funny.
great.
Okay.
Homicide victims rarely talk to police. That's some top-notch investigative journalism going on there, guys. I'm sure there was some sort of poll taken to clarify the fact. 0 out of 0 answers say that the police
they do talk to them.
very rarely converse with the dead.
Except when they bring in psychic mediums.
That's still very.
October 1st, disorderly. A group of students playing hide and seek in the Harris Fines Arts Centre at 11 p.m. caused a faculty member to call the university police. The police arrived, but were not able to find any of the students. Presumably, they must be on the college's hide and seek team. So it seems like they're dealing with some sort of professionals here.
The hide and seek national championship.
I was fantastic at hide and seek. We played it at night. I love to like blend into the shadows of buildings, so the people be looking right at me.
World of Warcraft level disappearing, just kind of like fade away.
Yeah, I wore a lot of black. It was great. Walk right into the shadows. Oh, he faded away.
There we go.
God. Sorry, takes delay. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about until I saw him disappear from the stream and reappear.
That's how it works. That's why I'm really good at hide and seek. Right, next.
I like, patience.
I don't know what hospitals have to do with this. Anyway, moving on. Terrified neighbours called police to domestic dispute, but find a man alone screaming at a spider. Carter, do you have something?
At least
there was fucking make a laugh. But
I love how meager.
Before, when your life is in jeopardy, call a motherfucker. Come handle your shit. Like,
I saw that and I was like, "Oh, that's Carter right there." It's screams Carter.
Sir, we had reports of a woman screaming from your house.
It don't matter who called, sir. Just answer the call. Just go ahead, handle that.
He's like blank.
He was
man.
playing DayZ. That happened. Uncle. None of you know who Uncle is, but like Tristan does. That happened to him. He drank too many monsters while he was streaming and got really into it, and he was like screaming at the top of his lungs, and he was threatening to kill people and all this fucking shit. And they called the cops because one thought someone was getting murdered in the house next door. He was like, "I'm a 42-year-old male," just to let you know. That's what happened to me on Wednesday. No, not Uncle said it. Uncle, just Uncle. You know the guy with the really nice voice and he talks like this? Uncle. No.
What's his name, Ben?
Uncle Fabric. Yes, anyway, moving on. But yeah, that's a true story. That happened. He swatted himself, essentially. One-armed man applauds the kindness of strangers. I'd say some journalist was like, I'm having a fucking good day today. Oh, yeah.
This is my last day at the paper.
God damn. Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure.
Going out with a bang. Fuck it.
Let's see you get out of this lawsuit, you fuckers. La, la, la.
He's probably giving a big middle finger as he was writing that.
Mm-hmm. The owls are not... Oh, yeah. There we go. That's the end of that. We just looped back to the start there. And I say, capture window be gone. There we go. And this window be gone.
Position looking.
Got it like a bewitched I Dream a Genie vibe going on.
Oh, yeah. Little Twinkie in the nose.
Yeah, and then stuff reappears and disappears.
Bewitched.
That's a different thing over here. Believe it or not. They're a pop band in Ireland.
Oh. They twinkle their noses?
I think they did.
Past tense.
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually, and they did a thing, the whole gag.
Okay.
Yep. The nose twinkle was a...
Ball in the gag? Or...
Right.
They had a song called C'est la vie that made them famous, that if you actually read the lyrics without the music there, it turns out they're telling a much different tale than what the song would lead you to believe.
Yeah. Shocking, that.
Fucking Randy Dublin to yours, what?
You said it'd be a big Wone?
No, it'd be a big C'est la vie. As I said, that was the name of the song. So. I honestly, God, I don't think the phrase Wone even existed at the time of this song's release.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Wone.
Pretty sure I'm pretty sure Oh No existed, and then
There's
for
a
some
witch
reason.
statue in Salem. Yeah, that makes sense. The one witch that
That's
was
where it's a
accepted
good place
by
for it to be.
America.
She wasn't accepted. That statue's there as a warning to others.
Durwood's a fuckhead.
Yep.
Not wrong.
Durwood. I used to love that show. That was a great show. Bewitched was great.
Which one?
Bewitched. It was a great show.
Is that the one with the two Darrens, or is that
It's just the one Darren.
It's the one with the two Darrens.
Bewitched?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of one.
Oh,
guy and
sorry,
brought
it's
in
one
another
Darren.
halfway through.
One Darren played by two dudes. Yeah.
It was like fucking the sister,
Wasn't-
the daughter from Roseanne, where you just came to an episode one day and you're like, wait a minute, you're not.
York and somebody else.
No, not the sitcom. Dick York.
There we go. I knew it was a York.
Oh, and the other guy was Dick Sargent. So two Dicks played two Darrens, or one Darren. Yeah.
Two Dicks played
Maybe
a
they're
Dick.
hoping that people would just see the name Dick appear on screen and kind of go,
Darren was a dick.
and then move on with their day and not realize.
Really, we're all here for the wife.
Maybe they were subtly trying to tell you that Darren was a dick. Yeah.
Dick Sargent. What a name.
Underneath all of it, Darren's actually a dick.
Yeah.
We always
knew that.
Darren's a fuckhead. As I'm pretty sure the statue in Salem says.
Hmm.
No,
The rest of the cast is bunch of old people here.
Genie.
Say what?
Genie.
I said I dug Bewitched and I Dreamed of Genie.
Okay, well,
Both
before
are shit.
Giz goes off in a tangent, thanks everybody for joining us over here in the Gorecast. Make sure to enjoy watching Rec after the show. We'll be back on Thursday. We're going to have a whole host of movie reviews, and don't forget you can join me over on Twitch tomorrow night, where I'll be doing something similar to this. We'll see y'all during the week. Catch you later, fuckers. Bye bye.